Hello students, very good evening to all of you. So welcome to Easy Science YouTube channel. So yesterday we discussed about chemical equations, how to balance a chemical equation and writing the physical states of reactants and products we discussed. So today we will discuss about types of chemical reactions. So before going to the class, please subscribe to Easy Science YouTube channel and click the bell icon so that you will never miss an update from my channel. So let's move to our class. Types of chemical reactions. So the first one is combination reaction. Let's discuss about combination reactions. So take a small amount of calcium oxide, which we also call it as quicklime, in a beaker, right? So slowly add water to this and touch the beaker. After adding water, touch the beaker and what do you feel? Like you feel the beaker is little hot. That means the calcium oxide vigorously react with water to produce liquid lime. So the reaction here I am writing, calcium oxide reacts with water to give rise to calcium hydroxide, right? So is this is a balanced equation or not? Let's discuss. So here reactant side one calcium is there, product side also one calcium, and two oxygens are there, one and one oxygen here, so two, even hydrogens also two. So this is a balanced equation. Just write the physical states of the reactants and products. Here calcium oxide is solid and water is liquid. So now calcium hydroxide formed is aqueous. Okay, so these are the physical states of the reactants and products. So this is the reaction takes place when calcium oxide react with water, it produces calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is called as slaked lime. So if you observe that the calcium oxide and water are combining, right, to form a single product. Here only one product is liberated. So such reactions we termed it as combination reaction. Such reactions are known as combination reactions. Two or more reactants combine to form a single product. So if you want to tell about the definition of combination reaction, two or more substances combine, that means two or more reactants combine and results in the formation of a single product. Such reactions are known as combination reactions, right? So now some more examples here. Burning of coal. Burning of coal, here I am writing the equation, C plus O2 gives rise to CO2. You know, carbon dioxide is a gas, even oxygen is a gas, and carbon is solid. These are the physical states of the reactants and products, and it's a balanced equation because one carbon and two oxygens in the reactant side and same one carbon and two oxygens in the product side, where we have two reactants are combining to give rise to a single product. So which is an example of combination reaction. And we have here the formation of water from hydrogen and oxygen. So here I will write H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O. You know, these two are gases and this is a liquid. So these are the physical states of reactants and products, but this is not a balanced equation because in the reactant side we have two hydrogens and two oxygen, but in the product sides we have only one oxygen. So we have to balance the equation. That's why I will write 2 here because here two oxygens are there. So I wrote 2 here. So now oxygens got balanced, but four hydrogens are there in the product side. So what I will do is I will add 1, 2 to the reactant side. Now this is a balanced equation. Here hydrogen and oxygen are combining to give rise to a single product, water. So those are examples of combination reactions, right? So in simple language, we can say that two or more substances combine to form a single product, then that reaction is termed as a combination reaction, right? And if you observe, like carbon burns with oxygen to give rise to carbon dioxide, large amount of heat energy is liberated. Here we can write heat also. A large amount of heat energy is liberated. So in this reaction, this is a chemical reaction in which heat is liberated. And even if we observe that calcium oxide, quicklime, when combines with water produces slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide. In that reaction also, we have touched the beaker is little hot, showing that some amount of heat energy is liberated. Such reactions where in a chemical reaction, if heat is liberated, such reactions are termed as exothermic chemical reactions, right? And this is an example of burning of natural gas is an example of exothermic reaction, right? Natural gas means we'll write methane, burning means oxygen to give rise to carbon dioxide and water. You know, methane is a gas, even oxygen also a gas, because natural gas I have given, no? Carbon dioxide is a gas and water, it's liquid, right? So if you want to balance the equation, because this is not a balanced equation, here 4 hydrogens are there, but here 2 hydrogens are there, here 3 oxygens are there. So what we'll do is we'll write 2 here, then hydrogen got balanced, and now oxygens are here 2 and here 2, 4 oxygens are there, but here only reactant side only 2 are there, so we'll write 2. Now this is a balanced equation. In this reaction also a large amount of heat is liberated. So the reaction, the chemical reaction in which heat is liberated is termed as a exothermic reaction. So all combination reactions are exothermic reaction, because when two or more compounds are combining or elements are combining, molecules are combining to give rise to a single product, some amount of heat energy is liberated. So the liberated energy, as energy is liberated, those reactions are termed as exothermic reaction. So in chemistry, exothermic reactions are denoted by minus Q. Q stands for heat energy. The negative sign indicates that heat energy is liberated. So all combination reactions are exothermic reaction. And do you know that our respiration is also an exothermic process? It's a very common observation that if you keep your hand near the nose while you are breathing out, it is little hot, right? So that means heat is liberated during the process of respiration. So we get energy from where we get our energy by eating food, right? So after eating, what will happen? The food get digested in our body into simple molecules, and these simple molecules will be break down in the presence of oxygen to give rise to energy. This process we called it as respiration. So I will write the reaction of respiration. In respiration, glucose will be break down in the presence of oxygen. So glucose formula is C6H12O6 plus O2, because that was burning in the presence of oxygen to give rise to carbon dioxide, water, and energy is liberated. As energy is liberated, this is also an exothermic reaction. And balance the chemical equation. Here 6 carbons are there, so I will write 6 here. Now carbon got balanced, but oxygens here 6 plus 2, 8 are there, but 12 hydrogens are there. Here only 2 hydrogens are there, so I will write 6 here. So 6 2s are, hydrogens got balanced, but now oxygens are here 6 plus 6, 12 oxygens are there, but here 6 plus 2, 8 only there, right? So 12 means what we'll write is, we'll write 3 here. If we write 3 here, 3 2s are 6. No, 6 2s are 12, 12 plus 6, 18. 18 means we can write here 6. So 6 2s are 12, 12 plus 6, 18. So reactant side and product side, the number of atoms of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen got balanced. So even the respiration also an example of exothermic reaction. Why respiration is termed as an exothermic reaction? Because energy is liberated. In any reaction, if energy is liberated, that reactions are termed as exothermic reaction. I said always exothermic reactions are represented by minus Q, and this energy we can write like this. It's minus Q, indicating that energy is liberated. Right. Next. So this is the diagrammatic representation of combination reactions where A and B are separate molecules which are combining to give a single product called AB. So this is an example of combination reactions, and remember that all the combination reactions are exothermic reactions. Now the next reaction is decomposition reaction. So here we have an activity in the textbook. Let's discuss about the activity. So take 2 grams of ferrous sulfate. Take 2 grams of ferrous sulfate. So ferrous sulfate is FeSO4, right? It's Fe3. Actually it is Fe2SO4 thrice. Ferrous sulfate crystals in a dry boiling tube. Note the color of ferrous sulfate crystals. Ferrous sulfate crystals. Ferrous sulfate crystals are green in color. Ferrous sulfate crystals are green in color. Right. Now, because note the color of the ferrous sulfate crystals, here it is there. Ferrous sulfate crystals are green in color. Heat the boiling tube, and you have taken that in a boiling tube, right? It's a test tube. And now heat this over spirit lamp and observe the color of the crystals after heating. So ferrous sulfate is FeSO4, right? Because Fe plus 2 SO4 minus 2 both get cancelled, so it is FeSO4. So what takes place? The reaction takes place is ferrous sulfate on heating. Here I am writing the symbol of delta, that means heating, gives rise to its oxide like Fe2O3 is formed, right? Ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide is liberated and sulfur trioxide is liberated. In this reaction, you can observe that the single reactant side, if you observe, that was single, gives rise to more than like 2 or more than 2 products. Such reactions we called it as decomposition reaction. The decomposition reaction, the ferric sulfate crystals, actually FeSO4 7H2O, like it's a crystalline molecule because it has a fixed number of water molecules to the compound. If any, the fixed number of water molecules present in a compound is termed as water of crystallization. Due to having this water of crystallization, it's actually green in color. If you start heating, what happened? This water molecule gets evaporated. So the green color of ferrous sulfate first converted into white color and decomposes into sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, which are colorless gases. Actually sulfur trioxide is little yellow in color, so its ferric oxide is formed, right? So these reactions are examples of decomposition reaction. What do you mean by a decomposition reaction? Decomposition reaction means a single reactant breakdown to give rise to 2 or more than 2 products. Such reactions are termed as decomposition reaction. So this is ferrous sulfate, we are heating the ferrous sulfate, so it loses its characteristic color because water molecules get evaporated due to heating, and two gases are liberating, SO2 and SO3 are liberating. So while doing this activity in a laboratory, there are some safety rules you have to follow. See, the test tube was slanting, right? So that is the correct way of holding a test tube, because you should not smell anything directly from the test tube. Maybe some of the gases are toxic gases also. So the point the test tube away from your face. So that was away from your face, and it should not be like towards the neighbors or yourself also. So gas was liberating. What gases are liberating in this activity? Sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide gases are liberating. So this reaction is an example of decomposition reaction. And if you observe that decomposition after heating only, decomposition reaction takes place, right? Because here ferrous sulfate crystals you are heating get converted into ferric oxide, right? It gets converted into ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. That means only after heating this reaction is taking place. That means heat is absorbing. Before the reaction has to be happened, heat is absorbing. Such reactions we called it as endothermic reactions. Let's discuss about some more examples. Now, decomposition of calcium carbonate to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide on heating is an important decomposition reaction which is used in various industries. That is, here I am writing the reaction. CaCO3 on heating gives rise to CaO, calcium oxide, plus carbon dioxide gas is liberated. Here I have given. So calcium oxide is also called as quicklime, and calcium hydroxide, before we discuss, that is flaked lime. So decomposition reaction, like here, if you heat the calcium carbonate, it get converted into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Single reactant was decomposing into two products, which is an example of decomposition reaction. And it was carried out by heating. This reaction was carried out by heating. That's why this decomposition reaction is termed as thermal decomposition, because this reaction is taking place after heating. That's why this reaction is known as thermal decomposition. Even the ferrous sulfate, heating of ferrous sulfate, also an example of thermal decomposition. Now, take about 2 grams of lead nitrate powder in a boiling test tube. Next reaction, lead nitrate, and hold the boiling tube with a pair of tongs and heat it over a flame. Now, what do you observe? Note down the change, if any. You will observe that the emission of, see, lead nitrate decomposes on heating, decomposes into lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen is liberated. Actually, the fumes of nitrogen dioxide are brown color. So, when you start heating the test tube, from the test tube you observe brown color fumes are coming out. So, this is also an example of thermal decomposition, because the reaction is taking place after, like by heating. Alright, so this is the diagrammatic representation where you can observe the fumes are brown color. Lead nitrate on heating gives rise to lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen is liberated. Right, and these all are which we discussed. 3 examples we discussed: ferrous sulfate, decomposition of ferrous sulfate, decomposition of calcium carbonate, and decomposition of lead nitrate. All are examples of thermal decomposition, because these reactions, in all these reactions, the reactants are decomposed by absorbing heat energy. Such decomposition reactions are termed as thermal decomposition reactions. Now, this is another example where on passing electricity, through water if you pass electricity, it gives rise to hydrogen and oxygen gas is liberated. Let's balance the chemical equation. So here 2 oxygens are there, that's why I will write 2 here. 4 hydrogens are there, so I will write 2 here. So this is the balanced equation where water get decomposed into hydrogen and oxygen by passing electricity. Such decomposition reactions are termed as electrolysis. Or we also called it as electrolytic decomposition. By passing electricity, the reactant was decomposed into two products. That's why it is called as electrolytic decomposition or electrolysis. Electro, in the presence of electricity, lysis, breakdown. So this is also an example of decomposition, but this is another decomposition reaction, another type of decomposition reaction where decomposition takes place with the help of electricity, right? Next one. So this is one more reaction where silver chloride, actually this is white color, silver chloride is white color. We have taken that in a china dish that was exposed to sunlight, get converted into silver and chlorine, that is dissociates into silver and chlorine. Silver is actually grey color. So this is also a decomposition reaction because one reactant was decomposed into two products, which is an example of decomposition reaction, but that was takes place by sunlight. Such reactions are known as, such decomposition reactions are known as photolysis, or else we call it as photolytic decomposition. It's also known as photolytic decomposition. It's also known as photolytic decomposition. And even silver bromide also behaves in the same way, like AgBr, which is yellow in color, on exposed to sunlight decomposes to silver and bromine, and where again the silver formed is grey color, but this compound is an like light yellow color compound. It's a light yellow color compound. So these are also examples of decomposition, but the decomposition was takes place in the presence of sunlight. Such reactions are termed as photolytic decomposition reactions or photolysis. Photo, light, lysis, breakdown. So these all are like decomposition reactions are of three types. We have thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition and photolytic decomposition. So the above reactions are used in black and white photography. So photography plates will use this silver chloride and silver bromide. Film, we have previously we are using the film, now photographic film, in that they will use. So we have seen that decomposition requires, see whatever like three types of decomposition reactions we observed, like what we observed is some amount of energy is required, the reaction has to be taken place. So that's why these reactions are known as endothermic reactions. And endothermic reactions are, they are accompanied by plus Q plus absorbed. Q stands for energy. So take about 2 grams of barium hydroxide in a test tube. Here I am writing. It's barium hydroxide in a test tube and ammonium chloride NH4Cl. So what is formed? What are the products formed is, it's barium chloride BaCl2 and ammonium hydroxide is formed NH4OH. So initially they both have mixed, some temperature is there. After the products are formed, the temperature was decreased, showing that this is an what do you feel means temperature has decreased, that is energy is absorbed. So this is an endothermic reaction, right? So now here some questions I have taken. So let's discuss about these questions. A solution of a substance X is used for whitewashing. A solution of a substance X is used for whitewashing. Name the substance X and write its formula. So solution of which solution is used for whitewashing? Calcium oxide solution, quicklime we called it as. So X is calcium oxide, and they are asking to write the reaction of the substance with the water. I said solution, no. So when calcium oxide mixed with water, what will happen? So calcium oxide reacts with water to give rise to calcium hydroxide. This is called quicklime and this is called slaked lime. Slaked lime is used for whitewashing. Now what reaction takes place is calcium hydroxide whitewash. So this will take the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere and get converted into calcium carbonate. That's why we call it as whitewashing, because this is calcium carbonate is the chemical formula of marble stone, which is milky white. That's why we call that as whitewashing. Now second question, like in the electrolysis of water, electrolytic decomposition, water decomposed into hydrogen and oxygen. So hydrogen was collected in one test tube, oxygen was collected in another test tube. Right. So we observe that the amount of the gas collected in one of the test tube is double the amount collected in the other. What is the reason they are asking? And name the gas which is double is present. Name that gas. See, we already written the equation like water gives rise to hydrogen and oxygen. Previously, I have shown you the balanced equation also. Here, two oxygens are there. That's why we will write 2 here. So, 4 hydrogen. So, I will write 2 here. So, H2 is a molecule, O2 is a molecule. Here, 2 H2 molecules are there, but here only 1. So, the ratio of the gas liberated is 2:1. That's why the amount of hydrogen present in the test tube is, one of the test tube is double when compared to the oxygen that was collected in another test tube. So the gas which is present a double amount is known as hydrogen. Right. This is the reason. Right. Next. Now, so we have taken 2 test tubes, and in the 2 test tubes copper sulfate solution I have taken, right? And I have taken 3 nails I have taken, right? So I have rubbed with a sandpaper this iron nails, because I want to, like, I should be very sure that there are no impurities, right? So now what I have done is I have kept the one of the iron nail in one test tubes. Like I have taken 3 nails, 2 nails I have put in one test tube, and in another test tube I didn't take anything. That is a copper sulfate solution, and I left this test tubes for 20 minutes. After I observed, what I observed is the test tubes in which the iron nails have kept, the color was shaded. You can easily identify that, right? The color was shaded, but in this test tube, so these test tubes are named as A and B. So in the test tube B, the color of the copper sulfate solution was shaded. It's little light. And in test tube A, where I didn't use any iron nails, the color was like, the intensity of the blue color is very sharp. It's dark blue color. So what happens, even iron nails also, so before putting into this test tube, the color is this one, and after keeping in the test tube which contains copper sulfate, so the iron nail color also has changed, like it was appearing like little brown color, right? So what is the reason for this? See, why does the iron nail become brownish in color and the blue color of the copper solution fade? So here some reaction has taken place when iron nails were dipped in copper sulfate solution. Iron reacts with copper sulfate to give rise to iron sulfate and copper, where iron forms iron sulfate and copper is formed. You know, copper is brown in color actually. So actually it is reddish brown in color. A layer of copper is formed, right? In this reaction, the iron has displaced. Here actually copper sulfate is formed, but after the reaction, iron sulfate is there. That is, iron displaces copper. That's why this reaction is known as displacement reaction, right? Because iron displaces copper and attach it to the sulfate. That's why this reaction is known as displacement reaction. Now, I have a doubt, like if I take ferrous sulfate solution, if I have taken ferrous sulfate solution and I add copper metal, will the same reaction taking place? Like copper displaces iron and form copper sulfate, iron is formed. Will the reverse reaction takes place or not? Now my doubt is, this reaction is not possible. Here no reaction takes place because iron can displace copper, but copper cannot displace iron because iron is strong metal when compared to copper. So strong metals can displace less reactive metals. Highly reactive metals can displace less reactive metals, but less reactive metals cannot displace highly reactive metals. So the reverse reaction is not possible. Here I have given some more examples of displacement. See, iron displacement, copper, iron changed their places. That's why this reaction is known as displacement reaction. Zinc reacts with copper sulfate to give rise to zinc sulfate and copper. Lead reacts with copper chloride to give rise to lead chloride and copper. Right. So these all are examples of displacement reactions. Now one more reaction. So sodium sulfate and barium chloride solutions I made. Right. And these solutions I have mixed. So sodium sulfate, I added barium chloride. So what reaction takes place? Barium sulfate is formed. Here I am writing the reaction. It's Na2SO4 plus BaCl2 gives rise to what? It's NaCl plus BaSO4. Barium sulfate is formed. A white color precipitate is formed. Yesterday also we discussed about such type of reaction in chemical equations. That is, lead nitrate reacts with actually PbNO3 twice it is. Lead nitrate plus potassium iodide gives rise to NO3 twice, gives rise to potassium nitrate KNO3 plus lead iodide is formed. It's PbI2. And I said this is an yellow color substance which is a precipitate. We have observe that the precipitate will be shown with the help of double direction arrow mark. So in the previous reaction, we observed that only one substance have changed its place. But here, sodium combines with chlorine, barium combines with sulfate. Like two substances have changed their places. Such reactions are termed as double displacement reactions. right? So we observe that a white color substance is formed which is insoluble. So that insoluble substance we called it as precipitate. So in a chemical reaction, if precipitate is formed, that can be shown with the help of a downward direction arrow mark. Right. So what is a precipitate? The insoluble substance formed in a chemical reaction, the insoluble substance, where it is insoluble in water, is known as a precipitate. If in a chemical reaction a precipitate is formed, such reactions are known as precipitation reactions. Heat is liberated, exothermic reaction. Heat is absorbed, endothermic reaction. Precipitate is formed, such reactions are called precipitation reactions. So, the white precipitate of barium sulfate, how it is formed is by the reaction of SO4 and Ba2 plus. SO4 2 minus it is, and it is Ba plus 2. The other product formed is sodium chloride, which remains in the solution because it is soluble in water. Such reactions in which there is an exchange of ions between the reactants are called double displacement reactions. Right. Next. Next we'll discuss about oxidation and reduction reaction. See, copper initially it's brown in color, reacts with oxygen and form copper oxide, which we called it as CuO. So initially it was brown in color, but copper oxide is black in color. So this reaction, the reaction I will write here, copper reacts with oxygen to give rise to copper oxide. Here oxygen was added to copper. Addition of oxygen is known as oxidation reaction. So this is an example of oxidation reaction. Now, one more reaction. If hydrogen gas is passed over the copper oxide, like cupric oxide, then what happens? Copper is formed and water is liberated. The black coating on the surface turns brown as the reverse reaction takes place because copper is formed here. If a substance gains oxygen, here copper gains oxygen, so this is called, it is said to be, which is said to be oxidized? Copper is said to be oxidized. If a substance loses oxygen during a chemical reaction, it is said to be reduced. The copper oxide here, see, the copper oxide is here, copper oxide is losing oxygen. That's why copper oxide get reduced. And here hydrogen get converted into water. That means addition of oxygen takes place and this reaction is known as oxidation. Now if you observe, both oxidation and reduction has taken place in the same reaction. Such reactions are termed as redox reactions. What that reactions are known as? Redox reaction, or they are also called as oxidation and reduction reactions. In a chemical reaction, if oxidation and reduction takes place, such reactions are termed as redox reactions or oxidation reduction reactions. So there are some more examples where like I will show you here. Zinc oxide reacts with carbon to give rise to zinc plus carbon monoxide is formed. Here zinc oxide get reduced to zinc because removal of oxygen is known as reduction. So reduction takes place. Carbon get converted into carbon monoxide, which we called it as oxidation. So in the same reaction both oxidation and reduction takes place. So this is an example of redox reaction. And one more is manganese oxide reacts with hydrochloric acid to give rise to manganese chloride. Manganese chloride plus water and chlorine gas is liberated. So here if you observe, manganese oxide reduction takes place because removal of oxygen, right? and hydrochloric acid get converted into water. That means addition of oxygen takes place. So it is an example of oxidation. So in the same reaction, both oxidation and reduction takes place. Such reactions are termed as redox reactions or oxidation and reduction reaction. So this is an example of redox reaction. Right. Next. So what are the effects of oxidation reactions in our everyday life? So one is corrosion. Like if you observe iron articles, initially they were shining if you buy, but after some days, like they are not shining and forms a brown color coating, like it's reddish brown color coating on the iron articles. This process we just commonly called as rusting of iron. Even some other metals also get this tarnished in this manner. Copper and silver. So if you left over copper outside for some days, you observe that a green color coating will be formed on the copper. Right, that we called it as corrosion. These all phenomena are corrosion. And even silver articles were left over. Initially they were shining, but later they turns into black color. So all these are examples of corrosion. When a metal is attacked by substances around it, like such as moisture, oxygen, acids, etc., it is said to be corroded. The metal got corroded, and this process we called it as corrosion. The black coating on the silver and green coating on copper are other examples of corrosion. Here this is the diagrammatic representation. See, copper initially it was looking like this, but after rusting, like it turns like a coating of reddish brown color coating was appeared on the iron, because iron reacts with oxygen and form iron oxide. Corrosion causes damage to car bodies, bridges, iron railing, ships, and all the objects which are made up of metals, especially those made up of iron. Actually, corrosion is a very serious problem. Every year, an enormous amount of money was spent to replace the damaged iron bar. So, we have to prevent corrosion. Like, that's why iron articles are painted with lead oxide, right? Like it was painted with black or red color in order to prevent the corrosion. Like here now we don't have the how can we prevent corrosion. We'll discuss that in the next class or next lesson. Like this is the diagrammatic representation where silver initially polished and this is tarnished. Copper, the blue color coating formed on the copper, right? The next one is rancidity. Right. If oils or ghee that was left over for longer days, food materials, some peculiar smell is coming out from the food. Like the food substances which contain fat or oil only, we observe this. So what is this? When fats and oils are oxidized, they become rancid and their smell and taste has changed. Usually substances which prevent oxidation. Rancidity is due to oxidation only. Oils and fats are oxidized and make the food material rancid. That means spoiled, which gives a bad smell, right? So the substances, we have to prevent this oxidation. So generally the substances which prevent oxidation, we called it as antioxidants, that should be added to the food which contains oils and fats. Like what are this means? Keeping the food in airtight containers so that the oil will not react with oxygen, and it will slow down the process of oxidation also, or keep it in a refrigerator because temperature is very less. And you know, you buy chips from outside of the shop and if you cut the packet, some air is coming out, right? So the chips packet contain nitrogen gas which can prevent the oxidation of the oils and fats present in the chips packet and keep the chips packet fresh for a longer time. So these are the some methods which you can prevent rancidity. The substances which prevent oxidation are known as antioxidants, right? So here some questions I have given. Let's discuss. Why does the color of the copper sulfate solution change when an iron nail is dipped in it? Because copper sulfate solution, when iron nail was dipped, what happened? Displacement reaction takes place. Iron sulfate is formed and copper is formed. That's why the color of the copper solution has shaded. Give an example of double displacement reaction. We can give this. Lead nitrate, PbNO3 twice, reacts with potassium iodide to give rise to KNO3 potassium nitrate plus lead iodide PbI2. This is an example of double displacement reaction where lead reacts with iodine and form lead iodide, potassium reacts with nitrate and form potassium nitrate. And identify the substance that are oxidized and the substance that are reduced in the following reaction. Here sodium oxygen is added and forms sodium oxide. That means sodium get oxidized. Oxidation takes place. This is just an oxidation reaction. Here reduction is not there. Right. Now this is the reaction which have already done before. Copper oxide get reduced, that is reduction by removal of oxygen. Here hydrogen get oxidized and this is called oxidation. So what get reduced means you have to say copper oxide get reduced to copper, hydrogen get oxidized to water. So this is an example of redox reaction. So this is the end of our lesson where we discussed about different types of chemical reactions, oxidation reduction reactions, and the effects of the oxidation in our daily life. So I hope you all like the video. If you like the video, please like and share the video. Please subscribe to Easy Science YouTube channel and click the bell icon so that you will never miss an update from my channel. So please comment in the comment section if you want any particular lesson so that I'll explain that lesson only. So see you tomorrow. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.